Hi there, Internet Associate. It's Anthony, and I'm about to react to the first and last episode of Gossip Girl. So, this is part of a series that I've been doing for about a few months now on this channel, where I react to the first episode and the last episode of a TV show. And it's something that I decided I wanted to start doing kind of as an experiment, just to see how much the show changed from the first episode, then all the way down the line through all the seasons, through all the character development, where it ended up in the last episode without any type of context whatsoever. Now, as always, I want to throw out some disclaimers. I totally get that just watching the first and last episode of a TV show isn't in any way an indication of how good or bad the show is, or the overall message or themes of the show. I know you can't really get a grasp of anything at all like that. And so I'm not trying to claim that I can watch 2 episodes and understand the show. It's more so just to kind of, confuse myself and amaze myself by seeing how much these characters and how much this show is going to change without any context. So now I'm going to do Gossip Girl, and I don't know a lot about this show really, but it is a show that I've, always kind of been somewhat interested in and thought I had in the back of my mind and maybe wanted to watch someday. And when I thought about this first and last idea, this was actually one of the first shows that I thought of wanting to do it with. So the only thing I really know about this show is that it's narrated by Kristen Bell, because I think one time I clicked on the first episode and saw like the first literally 20 or 30 seconds, and I remember hearing Kristen Bell's voice, and it gave me Veronica Mars vibes. But that's literally all I've seen of it, and I don't even remember what was happening. So this will be a pretty fresh... Oh, and I also know now that the guy from You and Penn Bagley, he's in this show as well. I remember reading that. So other than that, I really know nothing. I have no idea what to expect. The way this always works is I watch the first episode as part 1, and then next Friday I'm going to release part 2, where I'll be doing the last episode. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is Gossip Girl season 1, episode 1, pilot. So we're in New York. Tell me why I thought that was Kristen Bell for a second.
Dan, Jenny, over here.
Oh, is that him right there?
Hey, you made it. Welcome
He definitely
back.
looks younger.
How's your weekend? How's your mom?
Fine.
Like maybe I never should have left Manhattan fine, or taking a time out from my marriage was the best idea I ever had fine.
Those are 2 different types of fine.
Spotted. Lonely.
Uh-oh, Joe's getting ideas. I'm just playing.
Can't believe the love of his life has returned. Or their BFFs, but we always thought Blair's boyfriend Nate had a thing for Serena.
Yeah, like I said, the narration right now is really making me think of Veronica Mars. And that's one of my favorite shows of all time. So I would definitely say that that's a good thing.
If you're gonna wear one of my designs, tell me so we can at least get it properly fitted.
Ooh.
Dartmouth, but I'd like to check out west, maybe USC, UCLA.
His mother wouldn't hear of it.
Yes, well, Dartmouth is my first choice.
Excuse me, Captain.
Clearly it's not.
I'm gonna do this. Now.
Now?
What are they gonna do? Are they playing patty cake?
Better luck.
Sabrina getting off the train at Grand Central.
Good. Things were getting a little dull around here.
I feel like I have seen that guy that was just in that last scene sitting on the couch a lot before. Like, just in promotional stuff for Gossip Girl, I guess. How old are these
I
people?
love you too.
These are all high schoolers, right?
Thanks.
So they have history of some sort.
Hi. Serena. So you're leaving?
Yeah, I don't feel well. I just wanted to come by and say hi. I'll see you at school tomorrow.
So many of these interactions have just felt so fake so far. And I mean, obviously that's the point.
Has our bad girl really gone good? Or is it all just part of the act?
Young lady, you
So this is like a blog or something, Gossip Girl, and this person talking, obviously Kristen Bell's voice is like the writer of said blog or something. I'm trying to make sure I'm catching on to everything that's going on here.
He's my brother.
Why'd she leave? Why'd she return? Send me all the deets. And who am I? That's one secret I'll never tell.
Oh,
The only one. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
I guess that answers my question right there.
XOXO. Gossip Girl.
XOXO Gossip Girl. All right. Interesting little cold open there. I'm wondering how indicative of the overall mood and tone of this show that cold open was, because, you know, it was very kind of like, you know, upper classy, high classy type feeling, like everybody being sort of fake to one another, that type of feel, which is interesting. Although I'm not going to lie, I hope that the entire show isn't like always like that, like, you know, just kind of super upper class and like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it, but kind of that whole vibe. I'm hoping that that's just all like, you know, them putting on this performance for whoever, like their parents and all that stuff. But like throughout the show, most of the time, we're not going to be in those type of environments, and they're not going to be acting how they were just then, you know?
You know, I've been better.
Eric.
Starring Blake Lively. I feel like I've heard that name, but very vaguely. I might have never heard it before, but it sounds vaguely familiar.
And you're worried it's gonna cost you Mom of the Year?
Serena, you've been
Okay.
gone, doing who knows what with God knows who.
I told you, boarding school was not like that.
You know what? As happy as I am to have you home, you have no idea what it's been like.
Okay, so this is one of those shows that in the first episode, they start off the gate with clearly a lot going on in the, you know, backstory. These characters clearly already, I mean, they know each other. They have a lot of history. A lot of things are going on that we as an audience aren't really privy to yet. And they're just sort of, you know, drip dropping information out to us here and there. Like the thing about her brother and the suicide attempt or whatnot, and her going to boarding school, and all this different type of little things that we're getting from these context clues in their dialogue. So I'm looking forward to seeing maybe what more information we're about to be given about the background of all this. Because right now I'm thoroughly confused, but I it's okay because I feel like I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to know everything that they're talking about just yet.
Gossip Girl.
What? Gossip Girl? That's for chicks.
So that was in your laptop
Liar.
last night, reading all about Serena Vanderwoodson. Said that if I addressed all the invitations, that I could have one.
Sounds very fair. Sweatshops could
Yeah.
learn a thing or two.
Exactly.
One of your anti-capitalist rants. Fools.
That's for your education.
So we should just be anonymous losers who eat lunch alone and never get invited to parties.
Works for me.
Mom thinks it's a good idea.
And her judgment is always sound, right?
The rapid fire dialogue thing that they kind of just had going there somewhat put me in the mind of another show of a similar name that I'm a huge fan of, and that is Gilmore Girls. That's another one of my favorite shows, actually. I really like that show, and I kind of got a little bit of a feel like that just from the dialogue right there. I'm interested to see if this show, if that's going to be a common thing on this show, because I enjoy dialogue like that.
Change for school. I'm gonna be late.
Serena.
No. No.
But you're back now.
I didn't come back for you.
Yeah, there's definitely some history there.
There's something wrong with that level of perfection. It needs to be violated.
You are deeply disturbed.
Some people really think like that too. That's what's crazy.
Are you following us or something?
He's like, we go to the same school.
I go to your school.
Exactly.
Identical uniforms? That kind of
Yeah, I was just thinking they all look like they're headed off to Hogwarts. Gryffindor house.
Oh, hi. I'm Serena.
I know. I mean, hi.
I know.
Saturday.
It was hard to get that one out of her.
You're kind of not invited.
Ooh, that's harsh.
Since until 12 hours ago, everyone. And Jenny used up all the invites.
Come on.
Actually, you can go now.
Oh my gosh. Come on. That was so rude. I'm pretty sure that Serena can see right
No,
through
it's
that
okay.
though.
I got a lot of stuff to do anyway.
And I mean, it was one of those things you're supposed to see through, you know? It's not like she was trying to be all like, you know, seem nice, but really she's lying. Like, no, she was, I'm lying directly to your face, and we both know it.
I'd love to, but I'm doing something with Nate tonight.
The Palace. 8 o'clock? Nate will wait.
Spotted on the steps of the Met. An S&B power struggle.
So much just happened in the subtext and the undertones there. They just had a whole war of wits.
Yeah, there's this thing called MySpace, where you can post all this information online.
Oh, look at him trying to be all new and hip sounding. And then they still just end up dating themselves when you're looking at it in 2020.
Your blogs,
These phones are dating them too.
Hey, Dad, listen,
Ginny.
I gotta run. You gonna be okay?
Because I had a great day. A couple of pills, bunch of Rorschach tests. They had this green jello for lunch.
Why didn't you save me any?
I never knew that the Rorschach test was the name of the ink blot test until like 3 days ago. So now I feel smart because I know exactly what he's talking about.
Wait a second, is that why you needed me? I thought this was an emergency.
A fashion emergency. I mean, come on, I've never been to a big dance before.
Neither have I.
Yeah,
Oh my
but
gosh.
Mom's gone, and
Hey, Jenny.
You look totally
right?
freaked out.
hi.
Nice. Jenny's in good with Serena. Makes sense. See, I like Jenny so far. I like Jenny, I like Dan, I like Serena. And maybe I'm forgetting a few people, but so far, other than them three, all these characters on this show are getting on my nerves. They're all so fake and superficial.
Menu, so smoke up and seal the deal with Blair, because you're also entitled to tap that ass.
No, you're not entitled to anything. But yeah, this guy is cool too. Like, cause he's the one that was thinking about going out west, but then his dad was like, no, Dartmouth. He was like, yeah, that's my first choice. So you can tell he has a deeper layer inside of him that he's struggling to identify with, as the world around him wants him to be something else.
Let's fix that. I saw you at school with Cotty and Iz, and I get it. I
Cotty.
don't want to take any of that away from
It
you.
looked like it was spelled Katie, but it's pronounced Cotty. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. Why can't y'all just be normal? Why you gotta be all uppity class? Cotty instead of Katie? Really?
No, that's not what I meant.
I kid, of course.
You're like my sister. You know, and with our families, we need each other.
Again, a lot of backstory here that they're kind of revealing to us.
I love you too, S.
They made up
Spotted at
pretty
the Palace
easily
Hotel.
for now.
S and B having a heart-to-heart.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go out.
Okay.
Good, because I already ordered and only got enough for one.
Because she knew exactly what she was doing.
How about a grilled cheese with truffle oil? You do love truffles.
Enough to know it's not on the menu.
Good thing I'm connected.
Man, he got the connections. Truffle oil.
Look, I don't know how to say this. If it's even the right thing to do. But,
It's awkward.
there's something I need to tell you.
Yeah. What do you think that this sandwich is worth, man?
Let me see it. Let me stop.
Why did that startle me so much?
It's okay, you're still a man in my eyes.
Oh, wow. Nice double entendre.
But that was it.
That was cool how they just, connected these two scenes through that flashback. Yeah, it looks like they probably did more than just kissing. Did Gossip Girl spot this one? Oh, he spotted it.
Me, you'd admit.
And so he saw it, so now he thinks he can just come in and
No,
get a
that
piece
was
too.
then. I'm trying to change.
I liked you better before.
And stop. People don't like letting people change, first of all. And even if she wasn't trying to change, it doesn't matter. Like, what the heck?
Stop it!
Are you serious right now?
I knew it! I always knew there was something. Get out! Stop! No!
Like, just overall, that entire sequence of all three of those scenes, the flashback and the two present day scenes, they just all, I really like how they blended them together, how they cut them together at the end there, and even how they tied them together through the flashback.
And just when B and S
Shades of Buffy and Xander. Xander, hey, you forgot your, in this case, cell phone.
Her for months to let me handle the deal.
Then you should get it.
I will get it. If you could just help me out a little bit.
Come on, seriously?
What?
How do you know?
Man, that's kind of messed up, man. Just forcing your son to do stuff he doesn't want to do just for your own personal business benefit.
I'm sorry about that.
You remember me?
He's so shocked.
She remembers me.
Well, he
How about
claims he
that?
found you.
My friend.
Oh wow, this is crazy.
Lincoln Hawk.
Yeah,
Everything's just lining up.
10 forgotten bands of the 90s.
Now, are they really gonna go?
So you'll pick me up at 8?
I guess so.
You really go out with some guy you don't know?
Well, you can't be worse than the guys I do know.
Hey, that's a really fair point, given what we've seen so far. He's like, in just a few days, I'll have her locked in my cage.
If you say it's in the past, it's in the past. I'm sure you have no feelings for her anymore.
Her being that calm and tranquil about it, probably not a good sign.
Dan scored a date with Serena.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our kids were bound to meet. It's a small island.
Are you sure it's not some ploy you're using my daughter to get to me now that your wife left you?
Wow, everything's connected.
Oh, I get it. You hear about Allison?
Guess I have time to change.
And put some product in your hair. The ends are dry.
How do you have any level of self-confidence or self-esteem or security in yourself when you have a mother like that? I'm sure Blair is going through a lot right now. He's like, whoa.
Anything about her on Gossip Girl?
Fresh.
No. Until you're done with her.
So these teens, they just use Gossip Girl as the source for all the gossip, obviously, but like they literally use that as almost like a Wikipedia of the other students. That's kind of crazy.
Actually,
Oh my gosh.
Hair looks pretty good.
Don't let this guy take advantage of you. This guy is such a scumbag.
I'm sorry. Let's start over.
yeah.
This is probably still part of his manipulation trick. Help, emergency, need you. Oh, I'm so glad that she was able to send that message.
Sorry.
Especially given them phones they had back then, having to click the buttons 2 or 3 times each.
Okay, yeah.
It's Serena. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's Serena. Whisper, 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 whisper. Everybody got something to say.
No.
Gosh, this guy's making me so uncomfortable. Like, what? This is, oh my, he is like holding her arms. This is serious.
I haven't seen her anywhere.
This isn't just like subtle coercion where you're like, oh yeah, this is definitely in the wrong. But like, I mean, it's done in a way where some people might look at it and be like, oh, it was okay. It wasn't really, no, there is no art. This dude is holding her arms down above her head, like with her squirming, trying to get out.
Are you okay?
Seriously, man, this guy, he's a monster.
Things happen. Who are you anyway? How
What?
many times do I have to tell you? I'm in your class.
It's time to kill him.
My name is Dan Humphrey.
He said, how many times I have to tell you who I am? Ooh. I wish that Dan was Joe so that we could kill Chuck.
Making a
Spotty.
heroic exit from Bee's party. Too bad for her, there's school on Monday.
All right. Looks like that's Gossip Girl. Cool show. Very, very, very interesting. You know, like I said, I like the format, the idea of this all being a blog, and it's sort of this, you could call her omniscient character who just kind of is seeing everything, but we're never seeing them. And that's actually a question that I have, and that I'm wondering if we're ever going to, I mean, like, I have a feeling no, because it's Kristen Bell. So, I mean, like, I don't know, like, it's, I don't know. I just have a feeling she's never going to actually show up in the show, and she's just going to be the narrator. But I do wonder if, like, I mean, I wonder if that could happen. I wonder if ever at any point in the show, or if even in the last episode, it's finally revealed who this person is that is, you know, saying all this. I mean, obviously in real life it's Kristen Bell, but like if in universe, who it is. Because, or if it's just going to go the entire time where it's this voice of a character that we never meet, but it's a character that is somehow always around saying everything. Because that's the implication, right? That this person narrating is literally at all of these places. Or if they're not at the place themselves, they have people that are contacting them and telling them about these places. They have reliable sources that are spotting all of these things happening. So I think that's a really cool premise, cool concept. Overall, just the characters on the show is you know, it's definitely one of those kind of shows where, like, on the surface, the characters are putting up a front for a lot of different people, mainly for their parents and stuff. And it makes a lot of them kind of unlikable, you know, on the surface and whatnot. And they all seem to have their own, you know, deeper layers within that as the show goes on, I'm sure you start to learn more and more about and be able to empathize with them more. So far, we saw that for pretty much everybody, even the ones that were more, you know, unlikable on the surface, except for Chuck. This episode, we didn't really get any type of, you know, insight on Chuck and why he's really how he is. And I mean, I totally see why. Chuck was the antagonist of this episode. I don't think they were really trying to go that route with him just yet. This episode was totally about Chuck just being the villain in Chuck's case. Like, I mean, like all the stuff he was doing, he was just straight up despicable, which also makes me wonder what the future of his character looks like for this show. Because if I were to make a prediction, my first prediction, and it's probably a pretty obvious one, is that Chuck over time is going to become, you know, a more likable character. And by the end of the show, he's going to, you know, probably be somebody that's very endeared in the hearts of the audience and the other characters, and that we have plenty of reasons to like. I'm just wondering exactly, you know, how they're going to achieve that, just given the hole that they're already digging him in with some of the terrible stuff he was doing in this episode. But because I mean, like, he was literally going to rape these people. Like, I mean, like, that was his intent, and not even in like I said, like a subtle, like in any type of, you know, murky gray area way. And not saying that's ever okay either, because it's not. But he was doing it in a very obvious, straight up, yes, this is rape way. So I'm just like, that is so messed up. But that's why I wonder how they're going to redeem him in the eyes of the audience. But I have a feeling they will. So otherwise, you know, I enjoyed learning about the backgrounds of all these characters. Like I talked about at the beginning, it was just all sorts of stray pieces of dialogue just being thrown left and right, where it's like, I have no idea what's going on and what these people are talking about. So it was cool just starting to at least learn a little bit more of a foundation of, you know, what led up to all this over the course of the episode, especially that part with the flashback and when it was cut together with the other scenes. I thought that was really cool. So that's all been fun, and I can already kind of get a sense of who these characters are. You know, I feel like this episode did a good job of establishing the characters and the different dynamics that they have with each other. The one thing that felt a little weird to me, and I mean, I don't even say this as a critique, and I don't want to say it's unrealistic, but it was just interesting, I guess I'll say, how Dan's character, I mean, I don't want to say it felt like it was a shift in his character over the course of the episode, because I think it's possible for somebody to be both, like, you know, kind of shy the way he was being at the beginning, but then also so charming and witty and like almost outgoing in a way, like he was in the latter half. I mean, in the beginning, he was hiding behind coat racks and just completely assuming she just knew nothing about him and like trying his best to stay out of her way. But then all of a sudden, like the moment she knew who he was and was giving any indication of interest at all, I mean, like, he seemed like a pretty smooth dude to me. I mean, like, not that I like am very well versed on knowing what that would look like or seem like. So maybe it's just my perception. But I was like, okay, I thought he was like gonna be way more nervous. But I mean, he seemed like he was really like spitting game or whatever. So yeah, so I thought that Dan's character was cool. Jenny was really, you know, she was one of those characters that you just immediately like care about. You know, you don't want to see anything bad happen to her. She was so sweet, and the way she just knew everybody when they would introduce themselves to her, and she feels like one of those people that she sees the good in people almost to a fault. So it's to the point where some of these people might not really be the best people. At least I'm speaking of Chuck, but she sees him and she's like, oh, this guy is so cool. He's talking to me. Yes, I already know you. And maybe it kind of puts some blinders on her to not at first realize how, you know, much more of an insidious person he may be. Was very glad that, you know, she realized pretty quickly, and you know, and she was able to alert Dan so that he could come and get her. Dan also punched Chuck, which was a really nice moment, and also a little surprising, just given what we at first saw of Dan, but not really, because it was his sister, you know? So of course he did. Blair was a character that I started off not liking, but then over the course of the episode was able to empathize with her more and more as we were shown, just the way that her mom constantly would talk down to her and give her these sort of microaggressions. And you could kind of feel the pressure that she feels to maintain a certain, social identity and status. And the fact that she was so quick to get back with that guy after they had that, falling out in a way. And you get the feeling that she knows that he didn't really like her anymore and didn't want to be with her, but she still was just kind of, she was still quick to get back in it because I feel like she understands the whole social side of it as well. And so it kind of like, it made me feel really bad for her. And I'm like, okay, so I can see there's definitely another side to her. Same with that guy. And I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name right now, but hopefully by next episode I remember. He had a similar situation with his father, who was, basically forcing him to go to Dartmouth and telling him he had to stay with Blair because of a business deal or something he was trying to make. I thought that was one of those situations where I just feel bad for both of them. It breaks my heart for Blair that she's having to be with this guy that doesn't want her. And also I'm really feel bad for him that he's being forced to be with this person by his father that he doesn't want to be with and do all these other things that he doesn't want to be with. And they're both just feeling all this pressure from other places outside of themselves to be something else. And I felt like something that just was a common theme, central theme for this episode as a whole and for all of these characters. They're just dealing with all the ideas that all these other people have around them, whether the people know them or they don't know them. And that's kind of, that's gossip, gossip and rumors, that type of stuff creates entire narratives that sometimes end up becoming reality simply because people feel like they have to live up to them. So I felt like that was a central theme here, and it was just really interesting to watch. So I imagine that a central part of this show is just going to be seeing these characters break out of these, identities that they've been pigeonholed into and sort of start to find themselves. Like at the beginning of this episode, I was annoyed with like most of the characters. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people seem so annoying. I do not like these people. But then over the course of the episode, you start to learn more about them and understand why they act the way that they act and really start to feel for them more and, see a lot of their more likable qualities. And I feel like that's exactly what the episode was trying to do. And I feel like that's what they accomplished. And, I appreciate them for that. I appreciate them for endearing me to these characters that I started off just like, oh, these people just seem so annoying. So when it comes to predictions for this, I don't really know what to say other than maybe things that have to do with like relationships or something, perhaps. And I like to be kind of somewhat bold with the predictions I make just to see if I just randomly end up being right. Because so far in a lot of these previous things that I've done this with, I've ended up being right way more than I expected. So obviously I predicted that Chuck is going to be a good guy by the end. And I would also say that I predict, I don't even see any reason this would happen, but I predict that by the end, Chuck and Serena, that's her name, right, are going to be a thing. I feel like Chuck is going to be a really great guy by then, and they're going to somehow be together. And it's going to make sense and not feel icky and terrible based off how we feel about Chuck now. Then maybe, let's see, Dan and Blair would be together. And Jenny and the other guy, the Dartmouth guy. I'm just throwing configurations together at this point, I guess. And I guess they're going to be in college by then. I wonder if that means anybody's going to be leaving. Some people are going to be coming. New characters are going to be coming, I'm sure. I wonder how many people are going to die. I predict like 3 people are going to die. I'm just playing. This doesn't seem like the type of show where people are going to die. So I'm going to guess that nobody dies on this unless like something drastic happens and they have to be written off the show or something. I don't know. I'm guessing nobody's going to die. That's another prediction, I suppose, but I might be wrong. And there probably will be some type of side character that dies in a storyline or something at some point. Maybe another suicide or something. I can totally see that happening. And then the whole school like gossiping about it or whatnot. I can see that being something that happens at some point in this show. But overall, yeah, I'm probably completely off base. And come next episode, I'll have no idea what's going on because I'm sure everything that happened here is so far in the past. Nobody's thinking about it. And they just got totally new things they're worried about. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But until then, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. Also, the full uncut reaction is available on Patreon if you're interested in seeing that. And the full uncut reaction to part 2 will be available on Patreon earlier than is posted on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, you can go over there and become a patron or not. I'm not trying to force you. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.